thirsty and I want to have a drink. All right, welcome to Y Space.
Hey guys.
Hello, hello. I have exciting news. And
We love to start out with exciting news.
And I never tell Becca ahead of time because I love to cause her anxiety. But let me just double check where it is this morning so I don't lie. Yep, okay. This is going to be shocking news. This is episode number 23. If you follow our social media, you could be confused. Apparently, so is I. Yeah. But this is episode 23. And we officially this week, I got this like badge alert from Podbean that we use to post our thing. We have officially hit 10,000 downloads.
What? Oh
yeah.
my
We have made it very clear that we are not math whizzes, but the way that works out is astounding.
Sounds big.
Yeah, so this morning we are at 10,111. So 10,111.
Wow.
Now, if you were to evenly divide that, so please don't divide that by 23 and assume we had that many downloads because there's quite a few. We had about 5. But we know all but Laura are here for the Taylor content. So anytime we are big on that, you guys apparently think we have something to say. So we will always have something to say about Taylor. And you really love it when we talk about the Chiefs and football. And so that fits perfect because
those are our 2 favorite subjects.
That's all we really care to talk about. Sprinkle it in with a little true crime and you've met us essentially.
Yeah. There you go.
So, yeah, I'm astounded. In other exciting news, and I did not prep Becca for this because I do love to her off guard. We got 3 questions from the audience today. I know. No, they're not like the normal, like, who the are y'all? No, it's not that. And no one asked for merch this week, which is great because I don't have time for that yet. But we have 3 questions. So would you like to start with the questions, Becca?
I really do.
I know. I was so pumped. So to these 3 people, and I will like say your usernames, I guess. Well, I don't know. Are we supposed to do that? Because they didn't say to be anonymous. Maybe I won't just to be sure. And if it is you, you can let me know because we would love to say hi to you.
Yeah.
But like on Dumois, they let you click if you're anonymous, and we don't have such fancy technology.
We're not fancy.
Nor are we Dumois. So we have a lot going for us. Okay. Question 1. Okay, so we have 3 questions. 2 are on our favorite topic.
Okay.
And then 1 is about football. Where would you like to start?
Let's go football and move into the others.
Okay, great. That makes sense because the other 2 are the same. So, hold on. Let me. Okay. Yep. Okay, here it is. All right. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Technical difficulties. It's taking a second to pull up. What is happening? Okay, here we go. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So it's Hey Y Space Ladies. That's us.
Yes.
And this came from a man. So, I mean, I assume I shouldn't. Okay, I'll stop there because I shouldn't have made that assumption. But perhaps we're off to a swinging start today. All right. Hello, Space Ladies. Can you please tell us why you love the Chiefs and when your lovedom began?
Oh, I love that.
I'll let you start, Becca.
Well, so I have probably been a Chiefs fan for the last 4 or 5 years, I would say. Mm-hmm. I've always been a huge college football fan. Mm-hmm. And then I've watched the NFL like here and there, but I never followed specific teams. But then I started kind of getting more into the NFL, but I was more of like, where did my Alabama boys go? And then I watched their teams to see how they were doing. So I still didn't have like one specific one. But I'm a huge Patrick Mahomes fan, and that's because I grew up also in White House, Texas, where he is from. And so it was a big deal. So it's kind of like one of those, like, you kind of got to support hometown people. But also I lived in Missouri for a huge portion of my life as well. So the 2 just kind of intermixed. And so probably 5 years ago, I was like, I really need to pick one solid team that I'm always rooting for. I still keep my eye on the other ones just to see how my guys are doing. And so that's kind of how I came to be a Chiefs fan. Not an exciting story, but
hey, listen,
it just works out that way.
This individual is what I would call it.
Now I will say I have 0 Chiefs merch, like no merch, hats, shirts, none of it.
So,
and I'm convinced that I can't buy it because it will jinx them. So I will not purchase any Chiefs stuff.
Well, so if you caught last week's episode, El Predicto was here.
Yes.
My son Judd joined the episode. If you missed his segment, you should check it out. And
because it's precious.
He's a little upset today that he's not recording. But what I told him was that if he sprinkles it in more, he'll get more popularity.
That's right.
But he actually went online and saved a few things to a cart because I had told him I'm putting a little thing together for Becca, and I had said that I was doing this. And so he put a few things in the cart. So she may not be without merch long, is all I'm saying.
But I buy it, so I'm not
right. It's totally different. That's totally different. So my loved them, which I like this new word, loved them. So here's the thing. Okay. Born and raised in football. My whole life. I don't think I was born in February after the Super Bowl that year, but I'm pretty sure I still only ever knew anything about football. My first word was dog. My second word was ball. So
nice.
My football journey. Oh, please hold. We had a little critter. Okay. My football lovedom began actually as a Buffalo Bills fan. My godfather was quarterback for the Bills for quite a few years. So
I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
You guys, thanks for bringing Mandy and I closer.
Yeah. You're welcome, guys. So that was like, the early years for me. Upstate New York, Buffalo, it's like 2 below zero. So that's why it was nothing for me to go to a -33 Chiefs game. Seems normal.
Makes sense.
So that's kind of how I started life as a Bills fan. He retired, pretty early-ish in my childhood, like early elementary school. And like Becca, I was really a college football fan. We're from Arkansas, so we've always been Arkansas fans. And he had played for the Razorbacks too. So that had kind of always been the thing. Well, in Arkansas, you're kind of one of 3 fans. Well, I would say nowadays it's a little bit 4. There are a lot of Texans fans now, which nobody was before. Of course, they weren't there. They weren't in Houston when we were kids anyway. But pretty much in Arkansas, you're either a Cowboys fan, a Saints fan, or a Chiefs fan. So my mom, her family is all from New Orleans, and her cousin has been the chaplain for the Saints for as long as I've been alive. So that side of the family is very big into the Saints. I have never liked the Saints. Even like when Drew Brees was there, it wasn't that I disliked him. I had no lovedom with them.
Gotcha.
My dad, however, was a huge Cowboys fan, and he was a Cowboys fan from way, way back in the day. So I and obviously we grew up in the 90s when the Cowboys were the it thing. So I was a huge Cowboys fan as a kid. I think I had the starter jacket. I don't know. I definitely had the Charlotte Hornets starter jacket just because I liked the colors, not because I even liked the team.
That's fair.
So all that to say, I pretty much spent most of my life as a Cowboys fan. Obviously here in the past, 20 years, there's been nothing to really cheer for.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been on the market. And really because of that, I just really only cared about college football because I just didn't really have an allegiance. I've always hated the Patriots. I feel about the Patriots how I feel about the Yankees. I just hate them all. I don't know why. But about 8.5 years ago, I had a little boy. And pretty early on, people would comment once he grew hair. People really commented early on that he reminded them of Patrick Mahomes in his appearance. And so I think because of that, I was I started paying attention to Chiefs. And then once Judd was old enough to realize life in general, probably I'm talking maybe at 3, he was obsessed with Patrick Mahomes. And so because of that, we just started watching Chiefs games. And they weren't even, it's not like they were winning a a whole ton. They did win a Super Bowl. And so I was like, oh, I'm intrigued. And then I kind of like, because we love our history and heritage, dug into the history about, they used to be in Dallas and all that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of really just like, well, maybe this is where my allegiance. They win. My kid looks like the quarterback. He seems like a good guy. And then I would say my lovedom really did grow pre-Taylor, but when they won that next Super Bowl with Travis, the dude's amazing at what he does. And then I'll own that. I think that their relationship has made me even more of a Chiefs fan, not really because of their relationship, but just because I've like tuned in more. Right. And because of that, I've fallen in love with more things. Like some of the players that I love today have nothing to do with Travis and Taylor. When we went to the game last year, Judd got to meet Willie Gay, and I'm very sad that he's now with the Saints. But so, we loved Willie. We loved Jody Fortson because of Retha. He's no longer with the Chiefs. But, we really have gotten to know, not like personally know, but know about these players. And so, and then I think Andy Reid, like, I just love the dude.
Yes.
So that's how my lovedom began. Will I be a lifelong Chiefs fan? I don't know. When all the guys are gone that I love now, you just never know. But I can say probably for the foreseeable future, we will definitely be Chiefs fans. And hey, this is your last episode seeing me in Arkansas. So
it's true. Then you're going to be a true Chief.
Yeah, seriously. I still can't believe it, but these boxes tell you that it's true wherever they are. Okay, so you ready for question 2?
I am. That first one was a good one.
Yeah, thank you for the lovedom. That's a new word we're going to use.
I like it.
And we have somewhat answered this over the course of these 23 episodes. It has come up on this one. But I do think the answer is evolving, at least for me. This starts out by saying, I appreciate that I have found my people, that you all love Taylor as much as I do. We really are a cult, LOL. We're good at that. You ain't lying. Okay, what is your favorite era and why?
Like in the concert?
It's era, so I don't know if she means directly to the concert. We could do both.
I think my answer is probably the same.
Okay.
Mine is Reputation.
In albums or the show or both?
Both.
Okay.
But, although we've always said some of my like top few songs are all from the Lover album, but still.
Which surprised us, so we can't claim that it's Lover, but yeah. Okay.
But I will say it's definitely Reputation. Because that she was in hiding for so long or kind of away from the spotlight for so long, and then this was her album back. And you just know that in life in general, when you just sit quiet and let things play out and let everybody that was talking crap and saying you were the problem, it just all kind of comes to the surface. So the pettiness in her digs in those songs that certain people it's my favorite. But also seeing it in concert, just the energy that's behind those dance moves and the songs put together, it's just a whole another level. So that's my favorite by far.
Yeah. So like Becca said, when we did that was our first episode, right? When we went through our top 10 favorite.
Yeah, but I think that was the one we forgot to hit record. So I don't know if we ever listed it. Did we?
Well, that was the one where we went through Midnights.
Maybe that's what it was.
Now I can't remember. So if y'all don't know this, we do have a lost episode.
It was really long.
It was really long. Laura was there. We made her talk about Taylor Swift. If I can ever find it, it will be epic. But some technical difficulties as we are professionals. But when we did this episode that we're now not sure if it aired or not, we went through our top 10 songs and we were startled to find that we both had way more Lover era than we thought. And so I guess my answer, now that I'm saying that, my answer is kind of changing in my head a little bit. Okay. Here's what I'll say. I think my answer in general is changing now because I am like all in on TTPD now. Like
it grows on you.
I am all in. I think the songwriting is I've had to listen to it a lot. Not the first album, the second part, the anthology. I've had to listen to it a lot. Because there's so many words, as is typical with Taylor. There are so many words, but also it's like, not even if you're trying to figure out who it's about, but like just really understanding like the way she puts words together and her symbolism and all that. The more I listen and read the lyrics, I am so obsessed. Really from a lyricist point of view. And that's why I am going to be outraged if one of her songs does not get Song of the Year. And I know it's not going to happen, but I'm still going to be outraged. I don't even care about Album of the Year or whatever, but I'm going to be outraged. So right now, and I will say, like, on the Eras tour from the 2 shows I saw, obviously I didn't get to see TTPD, but I will in the 3rd show I see. But watching the live streams, holy bananas. The choreography, just the theatrics of that is incredible. Yeah. But if we're going to remove that from kind of the equation, I am kind of torn between Reputation and Lover. Okay. Reputation for all the same reasons you said. Lover for the fact that when I do look at my top 10 list, so many of those songs are my favorites. But I'm still a little jaded towards Lover right now. And I think it's because of TTPD. Because of the new light that has kind of been shown on either who the songs may be about, or even if it's about who we assume Lover was about, which now I can't assume anything. Clearly I had no idea. So it, like, just for instance, the song Lover, like, I thought it was a song about a lover, but apparently it's about being jaded by a lover. So, like,
what do we know?
We are feeling very emotionally disturbed. So I don't know, but I'm torn between the 2. But if I'm talking about like my favorite Eras tour performances pre-TTPD, it's got to be Reputation. Just the angst, the dancing, just I don't know. It's just.
Even when she did the Reputation tour, that show was so good, start to finish.
Well, and I think I'm speaking for you, but I think you'll agree that I believe that the Reputation tour documentary or show, whatever, the filming of it that was on the streaming channels, I think that makes us love it even more because, you know, we love a good documentary.
Yes.
And just like, that was like my go-to when we would fly places last summer. I would just watch that every time. And so, yeah. So that's my answer to that too. So, not to say I don't love, the Fearless era has really been growing on me too.
Okay.
Which is weird. But I think the nostalgia in the shows, in the Eras Tour shows during Fearless, I don't know, I just love it. And my favorite moment, I will say my favorite moment of the Eras Tour is in the Fearless era when she herself does the heart to the crowd and you see the entire crowd do it back to her. The pictures of that are just stunning to me. I don't know why, but I just love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great question as well. And then number 3, it's funny. We must not have aired this episode, or this person hasn't seen it either, because this person said, what is your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Ooh, of all time?
Well, and I will say, you coming in hot trying to get us just to pick one. So I was thinking we could say like 2 or 3. Because I don't think I can officially say 1 today.
Yeah, I probably couldn't do 1. Let's do, okay. I would say.
And I can tell y'all that having this question thrown at Becca right now, she's stressed.
Panicking a little.
And that's why I didn't tell her, because I thought it was funny. So.
Oh, gosh. May you get so many paper cuts on those moving boxes today.
Carry on.
Oh, God. So my all-time favorite song, which surprised me, is Paper Rings. And for me, it's just the meaning behind the song for what it means to me. No idea what it means for her when she wrote it.
We really don't know that part.
No, but that's my all-time favorite one. And then, what's the Daddy title?
But Daddy, I Love Him?
The Daddy, I Love Him. That's my second one. It's so good. And I think because it pulls in elements of like how we were raised.
Yeah.
in some of those, Hannah's and church.
Yeah.
That it never lives through.
Yep.
Yeah. So that one's my second one. And then Eyes Open that she did for Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Love, 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 love that song.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah. What are your top?
So my all-time favorite Taylor song is Clean. It is the song that for me, I relate it to my like journey with anxiety. And so for me, it will always have that place in my heart. Funny story though, I used to listen to it like multiple times a day probably, but at least every day. I am one of those people who has not listened to anything but TTPD since April. So my end of the year on Spotify is going to be heavy on TTPD.
That's funny.
But Daddy I Love Him is definitely number 2 for all the same reasons. And then my number 3 is Daylight.
That's a good one too.
I'm conflicted because there's so many conflicting thoughts and messages now about what that may have meant, what it means now. But as Taylor says in the Eras Tour, these songs are for us now. So,
yep.
But yeah, great questions. Hey, anytime y'all have questions, just let us know. I won't tell Becca. It's amazing. Unless they're really in depth and I would really get in trouble, I'll have to tell her.
And it can be like, I'm sorry, I lost connection.
There goes that internet again. But thank you for that, everyone.
I love it.
We do have an agenda today. Where do you want to start? What category?
Why don't we start with entertainment? Because I feel like, well, no, let's just start with sports.
Sports?
Yeah, we'll start with WNBA.
WNBA. And we've had some new news. Not to hearken to New Heights. I didn't even mean to do that, but so today, Breanna Stewart, who, if you don't know Breanna Stewart, she's a longtime WNBA player. She's probably one of the best of all times. They call her Stewie. She's announced that she is launching a new league that's kind of like in between season league. As we've talked about on here, WNBA is grossly underpaid. And so typically, if you don't know this, what happens when the WNBA season is over, most often those players, especially ones I would say that are like, well, I was going to say those that are lesser known but it's honestly all of them really, they go play overseas, truthfully for financial means. And, they also, though, are women, and a lot of them become mothers, and they end up like having to take off a season to have a baby, and things like that. So it complicates a lot of matters for them. So Stewie has announced that she's launching this league that will be in between season that I think will be here in the States. It sounds like. We don't know a lot of details. It just came out this morning, but I think that's awesome.
I absolutely love it. Number one, it keeps our players here to where we can see more. Because once you go overseas, we don't see your games. And I think before no one really cared or really realized that they did because there really wasn't a lot of attention paid to the WNBA.
Right.
But man, what a time to do this when you've got all the attention in the world. You have all of these people that I'm sure financially will back it to get their name out there. And be one of the first ones, because this is not going to be the only time that they do this. I do think that they would get enough steam that they could continue to do this. So I love it. I love that they're doing 3-on-3, 1-on-1. She did say the court was going to be a little bit smaller, but I think when you don't have as many players out there, that's not a huge thing.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun to kind of see that level of competition, and it'll be different for them too.
Yeah.
Instead of having their whole teams there. So I absolutely love that they've kind of taken this into their hands, because they've always said they wanted more attention. And so now when you get it, what a great thing to do with the attention.
And I appreciate that she's kind of the one behind this. She's been playing, I don't know, a long time.
Yeah.
So I would think that she is getting, kind of on the back end of her career. Not that her talent is getting any less, but just age. She has a little girl now. She's married and all that. So I love that she's doing it. And I love to see when players take ownership of things instead of relying on entities to do what they clearly are not going to do, and they're not going to do it right. I think that's the thing about the WNBA. I think there will be a lot of people right now who are wanting to make a profit off of what's happening, which, I mean, that's capitalism. Of course you would. But I think put the money in your own pockets. Like if you've got an idea like this, put the money in your pocket and in your players' pockets. Don't put it in some dude's pocket. Like that doesn't make any sense. So, and again, it goes back to what we've talked about with like Taurasi. Like put your money where your mouth is. And Brianna's been playing long enough and has done a lot of advertisements and stuff. She's probably got a pretty nice pocketbook, I would assume. And so, like, yeah, I think it's great. I think it's really, really good for these younger players too. And not just Caitlin Clarks of the world. And in fact, I don't even think this is that great of a thing for Caitlin Clark, but I do think it's a great thing for people, even like Kate Martin. I think just getting used to that pace of the game and to develop that camaraderie. I think that's one of the things let's face it, when you get a group of women together, there just really is no telling what's going to happen. And I think that helping them develop those bonds, because that's one of the things we see in a lot of sports on the male side, like even the fact Travis being at the Stars game this past week, the Mavericks game, him and Patrick and all those guys going, all those athletes kind of intertwine. But with the WNBA, they don't really have that. I guess somewhat with the U.S. soccer team they do, but really probably just because Rapinoe's married to Sue Bird. But like, I just think it's cool. I think I love it. And again, anything that can further women's sports, like I'm all in. So
right. Well, and I think when you also get all of those women into a room and build those relationships, the business ideas that will come from it also is just going to help to elevate the sport to even higher.
Well, and I think it gives them the chance for even things outside of the sports world. Like, I mean, you think about like Patrick and Travis starting their new steakhouse, 1587 in Kansas City, and then all the other things that those guys and a bunch of other guys invest in together, F1, all that kind of stuff. I think this will give these people, these women, the chance to develop those kind of bonds where like, hey, you're interested in this? Me too. Why don't we try this together? And I just think we'll all win in the end. So, WNBA season is hot on the presses. It's very much the heat of their season. Even though it's early kind of in the season, theirs runs differently than the NBA, which is winding down. But this past week, the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's team, played the LA Sparks with Cameron Brink, and they played where the Lakers play, because that's where the Sparks play, and they freaking sold the place out more than the Lakers have.
Crazy.
And that, like, okay, obviously I'm a lifelong Lakers fan, but being able to sell out their arena more than like one of the most iconic teams in the NBA.
Or just a regular season game.
Just like in an early season game. We're not talking like, oh, are they going to make the playoff? Like this is just, I mean, it's like game 8 somewhere in there. Like crazy. Now, what I will say though is Caitlin is doing what we thought she'd do. She's breaking all the records. She's like the fastest now to score, I don't know, 5 bazillion points, all kinds of stuff. But they're still struggling to win.
Yeah. I've seen a lot recently in articles that now, again, they were first draft picks, so that tells you they were already a struggling team. Excuse me. But I had seen a few articles where it was saying kind of like their head coach might be a big issue. Listen, I haven't watched enough of their games and really paid attention to the coach, but saying, she's pulling players out right when they're hitting their hot streaks and she's benching some of the good players. So I don't know if there's any merit to those claims, but it's definitely worth, you would think, the owner's looking into.
I think they will for sure. I think what the Fever has got to do, they got a lot of pressure on them, in my opinion, because you got Caitlin Clark, you've got all eyes on you. She's having a phenomenal season and you're still not winning. And so I just think that they're going to have a lot of pressure on them. I could definitely see them making a change. Speaking of WNBA coaches, Becky Hammon, the Aces coach who used to coach with the Spurs actually in the NBA. Yep. I freaking love her. She may be controversial. I don't know. I had this in my head. I was going to bring this up, and then I was like, I need to make sure she's not controversial. So if she is, my apologies. I don't know everything.
We don't know enough about her.
I mean, I know most everything, but I saw where she was like kind of in an off-cuff interview, not an official interview this past week, where she was like, hey, we don't hate Caitlin Clark. Like, and this whole narrative of the like race issue, she's like, that's all garbage. And that's why I love Becky Hammon, because she's like,
she's called out.
Yeah. But I think there is a disparity. What I'm learning, because the WNBA, like really following it is new for me, even having been a basketball player. What I'm learning is there's a massive disparity in the coaching. You know, when you think about the NBA overall, I mean, there are some teams where you're like, who is the coach? But overall, their coaches are pretty. I mean, you've got like Pop, who at San Antonio, who's obviously like legendary. So you got some of those, but overall, everybody's kind of, I think of them equal.
Pretty even.
The WNBA, it's very disparate though, because like a Becky Hammon, who had massive success in the NBA and then made the switch to the WNBA, people like her, like it's, I don't know. And it proves out because the Aces have won a lot. And I would say they're like early season predictions, they're pretty on par to probably get there again. But it's weird because then when you think about women's college basketball, we have such big names, but they don't seem to want to go to the WNBA. And I would bet it's money.
I'm sure.
Because you got to think like, and you know that I do not like the UConn coach, Coach Arbach or whatever his name is, Armont, whatever. I don't even care. I can't stand. I don't like Eugene. Don't like you at all. But like he's never shown any interest in going to the WNBA, but he's got to be making a cool hit in UConn. Like
100%.
So I think if you're going to elevate the game, it's not only these players and getting them their endorsements and their commercials and all that stuff. It's the coaches too. I mean, because I mean, the Fever are proving it out. You can have one of the best talents in history and still not win games.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting. The other game I wanted to talk about was the Fever played the Aces. So we had Kate Martin going against Caitlin Clark, old teammates in Iowa, really good friends. And it was so fun to see them and their coaches were all there. I didn't realize Kate Martin's aunt is like married to the new head coach at Iowa. I didn't even know all that. Like, Lord, everybody's related. But that game was so fun to watch them guard each other. And just, I'm telling you, I freaking love Kate Martin.
She's so good.
And she has such a confidence, but a quiet confidence. Now we know based on last week, you've got some mixed feelings about Caitlin right now.
I do.
And it's honestly getting worse. And I don't know if did I send you the article that her coach called her out in the press conference?
I don't think you did, but I did see that because that was the first time where I was like,
you just do it by name, but she was very obvious that like we don't need to be talking to the refs. We need to be playing the game, which we agree. Kate Martin, though, she's got this quiet confidence and swagger about her. Like she's just first of all, I mean, based on back when the draft was happening and like she was literally sitting in that room and was like, oh, I've just been drafted. Who knew? I was just here to support Caitlin. Yeah. But dude is like, I mean, she's killing it.
She's
and
so
her
good.
Teammates love her. Like Kelsey Plum, who's one of my favorite and is one of the greatest of all time. She freaking loves her. Like, but she just walks with like this. I just love her.
Yeah. She's just there to play basketball and have a good time with it. And that's what I think that's what makes sports fun to watch is when people genuinely just love the game and there's not, I don't want to say politics to it, but you don't hear them complain about the business side of it as much. Obviously, everybody's got complaints about the business side and how much money I make and what my deals are. But just to watch people that genuinely love the sport and are trying to do really well and compete at their highest level just makes it so much better. And you're right. She just has that quiet confidence of just getting out there and doing what she does best. And it makes her enjoyable to watch.
Another interesting fact from that game that I thought was really, really cool, just for like the history of women's basketball. In that game, all four of women's college basketball all-time scorers played in that game. So you had Caitlin, you had Kelsey Plum, you had Daisha Fair, which I have a note about her, and then Kelsey Mitchell. So all four like had the record at one time, and then kind of each one would get trumped by the next one. But the weird thing is Daisha Fair, who got drafted this year, I want to say top 10, maybe she was top 15. She got cut after the game.
I saw that.
I'm very perplexed. And so I think there's one of two things at play here. We've talked before, and to Taurasi's credit, she was mentioning this. There's a big difference between college basketball and the WNBA. So there could be some of that at play. But I always wonder when you have somebody that you know historically, even if they haven't yet produced, can produce, and you still cut them that quickly in a season.
Yeah.
That to me is a personality conflict.
Yeah.
So I would be shocked if she doesn't get picked up by someone else. But the fact that she hasn't already, something's in the water here. So it'll be interesting to see. But like, I just think for like, again, the history of women's basketball and just like that game was huge. Just that much talent right there together. It's so fun to watch. And if you aren't watching, I feel so sorry for you, but you can't fix stupid. So
no, you're missing out. It's might as well. We don't have football right now, so you gotta.
What are you doing?
Watch something, guys.
Yeah.
Literally, what you guys do.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you do in your free time. I will touch quickly on the NBA playoffs. So we're down to the Celtics are in. They blew out the Pacers.
Oh, they're still playing?
Yes. Oh, yes. It's never done.
Never gonna end.
So the Celtics are going to the championship. Youngest NBA coach in history to take a team to the championship. That's kind of
good for him.
Yeah, props to you, my dude. I don't know your name, but cool. And then the Mavericks and the freaking Timberwolves, like, so the Mavericks went up in the series 3-0. They were back in Dallas. We got to see our boy Trav when his pants that got eaten up by Taylor's cats. Listen, high fashion will never make sense to us, but because those pants probably cost. I didn't go look at Swift Style or whatever, but I'm sure
maybe what we would spend on jeans
or anything for that matter. But freaking Mavericks had the game 4 to take the series, and they blew it right at the end, and the Timberwolves won. So now they're back in Minneapolis tonight for game 5.
So did you see all over social media that all of the Mavericks fans were mad that the Cowboys players had showed up because they were like, you guys are blowing your bad juju all over our players to get out?
Like half the Chiefs were there in the game they won in Dallas, the first game in Dallas. And the second one, they weren't there. The Cowboys were there, and we crapped the bed. So,
listen,
yeah.
I'm not saying that the two things are related, but
all I'm saying is, like, if I'm Mark Cuban, I'm paying them not to come.
Right. Please go away.
They got game 5 tonight in Minneapolis. If the Mavs win, it's over. If the T-Wolves win again somehow, then they'll go back to Dallas.
Golly.
Yeah, it's just, Lord, it's a lot. Like, let's get this over with. So yeah, that's the NBA. We don't really care much about them. But
nope.
We'll switch gears to our other favorite, the NFL. Yes. So, got 2 topics for you, which I did put in the notes because I don't like her to get mad at me.
Thank you.
There were 2 posts which are taking forever to pull up. First one was what they're calling the total package NFL teams. And then the second one was top 10 defense predictions. A lot of times on here, and I think really everyone in football in general talks about offense because, let's face it, usually it's like the most exciting and most popular players. Yeah. But, I mean, as the saying goes, defense wins championships. They're not pulling up on that for me, so let me try to pull them up on my phone. Clearly professional. That works.
Sports Instagram.
Yeah. So on CBS Sports Instagram, about 5 days ago, so they had this thing called Sorting All 32 Teams. It was what the title of the post was. And this is what they're essentially calling like the total package team. So they've got some categories. They've got like evenly balanced. So to me, of all of these, the evenly balanced, so they have evenly balanced, defensively geared, offensively geared, and then the total package. Mm-hmm. The thing that was the most confusing to me, honestly, was the evenly balanced category. So we've got the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Cowboys, the Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, Vikings, Seahawks, Bucks, and Commanders. Now, Becca, let me ask you something. You're an English major. When somebody says evenly balanced, what would you surmise that they mean?
I would think that across the board, everything's about equal there.
So I guess what you could mean is they could be evenly balanced in the crappy category or the good category.
Listen, now that you say it that way, that's absolutely what it has to mean.
Because I was like, what did we do here? Did we take some of the worst teams in the NFL and need to put them in this graphic? And we just
because the only way you could say for some of these teams is, yeah, your defense is just not as great as your offense is. So we're even keel here. Because the Broncos, the Vikings, the Falcons. I don't.
The thing, like when I talk about these teams, okay. So they're in 3 rows on this graphic. Top row is, we'll just go row by row. Top row is Cardinals, Falcons, Cowboys, Broncos. First of all, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm offended. You know?
That's fair.
Because like, all right, so if I think about the Cardinals, okay, let's play this little game. I'm going to say a team, and you tell me the first person that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
Cardinals.
Kyler Murray.
Same. Falcons. Yeah, it took a minute.
All I can think of is Arthur Smith, who's not even with them anymore.
Exactly. Okay. So Cowboys.
You can name a ton. Dak.
Exactly.
Zeke.
All right. And then if I say Broncos. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm like, really? What?
Yeah.
I don't get that.
This had to have been like the interns at CBS Sports, like, you guys, we have an assignment and the due date's in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Now, I say that to say, because the next category we're going to talk about is defensively minded. Now, if I'm thinking about the Cowboys, or what is it called? Defensively geared. I'm sorry. If I'm thinking about the Cowboys of today, I'm going to have to go defense, but literally only because of Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And because like, I've never been, nor will I be able to ever be on the Dak train. Like, I'm sure he's a lovely human being. But the dude is like, I'm with CeeDee Lamb's mom about this cat. Like, I'm over it. He ain't it.
No.
And I mean, CeeDee Lamb's super talented, but can't produce because who's throwing him the ball? I mean,
right. You can only do so much.
And then if I think about the second row on this evenly balanced, when I've got the Raiders, the Chargers, the Vikings, and the Seahawks, again, now that Russ has gone from Seattle, I mean, is Tyler Lockett still there? I don't even know. DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
But Geno Smith's throwing him the ball. Like, we'll see. And then if I think about the Vikings, we have no idea what's going to happen with JJ and all of that. It came out that he was having a horrible training camp. And then I saw yesterday the ownership's like, oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Trying to save face. And you know why? Because Justin Jefferson wants his money. And they need to keep Justin Jefferson. So let's pretend that JJ's awesome, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
When I think of the Chargers, I mean, again, I say it all the time. I draft Justin Herbert in fantasy because he's consistent, but they don't win.
No.
And then if I think about the Raiders, I mean, I do think of Max Crosby on defense, because who do they have on offense? I mean, we got Henry in jail. We cut Hunter Renfrow.
Right.
I don't understand. So, and then the bottom with the Bucks and the Commanders, honestly, I'm kind of shocked that the Bucks are on there, but I'm having to take it that this means neither one is better. Offense and defense, neither one is better.
Yeah.
And then with the Commanders, I don't even know anybody that plays for the Commanders anymore.
No.
I mean, we'll see what Jaden does there, but
here.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, what's happening? Are you signing? Are you telling me what's happening? I don't know. So then if I switch to defensively geared, we got 6 teams. This one is equally perplexing to me. We have the Panthers, the Browns, the Patriots, the Saints, the Giants, and the Steelers. Literally the only thing I can think of in this entire graphic is you have Myles Garrett with the Browns and you have TJ Watt with the Steelers.
So the top line made sense to me. The Panthers, the Browns, the Patriots, because your offense is trash. So
okay, yep.
Defense is all you're geared for.
Okay. I mean, I could agree, but you're still not winning games, so they're not doing their job.
No. I mean, they can stop some scores, but if your offense can't score anything.
So basically what we're saying is this should actually say defensively geared, because our offense sucks. Okay, check. Got it.
Yeah.
with the Saints, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what they're doing in New Orleans.
Do we know who their starting quarterback's going to be?
I mean, I think they're going to have to ride Derek Carr until he gets hurt, and he will.
I was going to say, he's going to get hurt pretty fast. I just don't think it's been a good relationship there.
Who did they get? Did they get Spencer Rattler, or am I dreaming that?
I don't remember.
I think I may be dreaming that. Like we said, we never know exactly what we're talking about.
No.
But it does sound right.
Throws me off on this one.
Yeah. He went to the Saints. Now, listen, there's a lot of people who believe Spencer could do something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'd take a shot on him before I would Derek Carr.
100%.
Now, they still have Alvin Kamara, right?
I believe so.
Now, Michael Thomas is no longer with the Saints. Of course, when he was there, he didn't really do much because he either pretended to be hurt or he just didn't want to play.
I would. All those guys running at you, I would too. Please just write me a check.
We suck, and I don't want to get hurt, so I'm out. Yeah, and the Giants, I couldn't tell you what they're doing in New York. Like, whatever. The Steelers, I was a little surprised. I mean, I feel like they had to make this side of the graphic because of TJ Watt. I mean, yeah, okay, I can believe that. But I almost, to me, they should have been on the evenly balanced because you do have Russell Wilson now, and you still have Najee Harris.
That is true. I do have the potential to be evenly balanced this year.
Well, I mean, we'll see. So on the offensively geared, we've got 11 teams. And there are a few on here that I raised an eyebrow at. Top row, we've got Bills, Bears, Bengals, Lions. Second row, we've got Packers, Colts, Jaguars, Rams. Third row, we've got Dolphins, Eagles, Titans. So starting on the front row, first row, yeah, I agree on the Bills. Definitely with Josh, we're an offensive team. Which is funny because isn't their head coach like a former defensive coach?
Uh-huh.
So maybe that's the problem too. I'm just saying, because I'm shocked that guy still is working there.
Yeah.
The Bears, I do appreciate that the Bears decided to be included in the offensively geared. I mean, we have no idea what Caleb Williams is going
to do. Talk about delusional. Listen, what?
That is an evenly balanced shit show, if you're asking me. I don't get it.
I almost feel like it was one of those, we got to stick them in some category. So let's just go here.
Yeah. I guess, everybody's on these coattails of Caleb Williams. God bless him. I hope it's there, but
listen,
it doesn't sound like it's going that way.
If he does great, he'll make a fool out of all of us, and I'm okay with that. I don't think he's going to be what they think he's going to be.
No. My friend Stephanie, that we've talked about on here, the USC fan, she was telling me the other day, we were sharing articles about the whole, like, how the training camp has looked for Caleb, which has not been good. And I said what I said to you. We do have to keep in mind, he's throwing the ball to a crap team. Yeah. They did go get Keenan Allen from the Chargers, but Keenan's getting older and has never stayed healthy. So, and she was mentioning that, a lot of people bill him as that he's good out of the pocket, like on the scramble.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, with the USC offensive line. Like,
makes a difference.
You can't just draft a kid who could be amazing and think your whole team is suddenly overnight going to be awesome because someone has to protect him.
Yeah.
Bengals, I would agree with Joe. And we'll see what happens with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I would assume they'll still all be Bengals, at least for this season. The Lions, I know we're paying Jared Goff a lot of money. But I was really thinking more on the defense for them.
I was too. This one surprised me they were offense.
And I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but is he worth the money they're paying him? I don't know. I was surprised by the Packers. Again, they were one I would have been more evenly balanced, but people seem to really love and believe in Jordan Love. And I guess I am not there.
He did it okay last year.
Who is he throwing the ball to now, though?
That's a great question.
There you go. That's my point. What are we doing? Now the Colts. Who is the quarterback of the Colts now? It's that kid that didn't play last year. Anthony Richardson.
I don't even know that name.
And Joe Flacco. But who are they throwing?
That by the Colts?
I think so. Unless I'm making that up too. But who are they throwing the ball to?
Listen.
We don't know. And then the Jaguars, I mean, I assume we're saying this because of Trevor Lawrence, because again, we just keep trying to make him something. And I don't see it.
No.
I do agree on the Rams. You got Cooper Kupp, you got Matt Stafford, so I can agree with that. Dolphins, I totally agree. With Tua, Tyreek, Jody, Jalen, OBJ, all these people. I mean, they do have Jalen Ramsey on defense. So if we were actually doing an evenly balanced and not just because we suck on both sides, I could maybe see that with them. The Eagles are another one I would have said evenly balanced.
Or even leaned more defensively.
Yeah. But I think it's because we're confused what's going on with Jalen.
Yeah.
Because again,
if we can figure that situation out, then we'll have a better analysis on the team. But
I mean, again, there is ne'er a team in the NFL who has drafted and picked up quite so many players than the Eagles. No so joke. I'm just saying, if they don't pull it off this season, burn it down. Like, I'm not kidding. I think they should start from scratch if they blow it.
You would have to.
It would have no sense.
Because you can't have that roster and not be making Super Bowls.
No. And then you got the Titans, and I was really confused by this because I assume, well, I guess I don't even know what's happening. Is Tannehill out because he's a free agent, or like, so are we going to Bill Levis?
I think they're still planning to start him.
And I guess who's he going to throw the ball to? I guess is DeAndre Hopkins still there? Because you got rid of Derrick Henry.
Right now, I think he is.
And they have Treylon Burks or did they get rid of him too? From the Razorbacks, who's good but can't stay healthy. Again, I don't know. But last category, total package. We only had 5 teams in the entire NFL. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you one of them I cannot figure out for the life of me.
It's the same one I had questions on.
So the top row, we've got the Ravens, the Texans, and the Chiefs. And then the bottom row, we have the Jets and the 49ers. Becca, go ahead and tell us what doesn't make sense. One of these things is not like the other.
My note literally says, I don't know why we're writing so hard for the Jets. I do not get this.
Did you see the stuff I sent you at the end of Jets practice yesterday with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Something's wrong with that foot already. Yeah.
I just total package, you guys.
Okay, like, let's go ahead and take Aaron Rodgers out of the picture.
But even their defense is younger guys. So
yeah, who are we talking about?
And what do you got, like Sauce Gardner? That's who we're writing for right now?
That's literally, because here's the thing, like, it's not like they went out during free agency and picked up a lot of big names or big production people. Like, this is still the Jets of last season.
Yeah.
I do not understand, like, what we are doing as society. The rest makes sense to me.
Yeah.
The only one that I don't know that I would say is total package on this list also is the Ravens, though. I'm going offense heavy with them.
Yeah, but I think you can easily make the argument for both.
I mean, you got to put them somewhere, so that's fine. But I think the Texans are going to be really interesting / exciting to watch this year. I saw that they went ahead and extended Nico Collins, which I think makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course, our Chiefs, everything is total there because y'all are amazing. But I think the 49ers obviously are a total package team too.
Yes, they've already proven that.
So yeah, that was some interesting, very confusing. CBS, it appears that you may need us, so just let us know. DM us.
Guys,
we are happy to help. The other topic with the NFL, the other graphic we saw, oh no, it says could not load the media. What is happening? Let me try again.
It didn't work for me either.
It's gone. Okay, great. We don't need to talk about it. It was the 10 defense predictions. I could not tell you what was on it, so we'll just go ahead and skip that category. Well, favorite segment from last week, I thought we would try again, is another question game that I came up with.
Wow.
and I told her these questions because I don't want to be in trouble. Okay, number 1. If we removed the Kansas City Chiefs from the NFL, who would be your new favorite team to cheer for?
Had you asked me this last year, I would have told you the Eagles, obviously, because Jalen Hurts, Alabama boy. But I just can't with the inconsistency and the attitude that I think I saw. So I would probably go for Miami Dolphins as long as Mike McDaniel is their coach. I love him. I love his personality. I will ride for him any day of the week.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that'd be my go-to to root for.
Well, it's funny. So my notes say, if you would have asked me last season, I would have picked the Eagles. But I would have said because of Jason Kelce, because I could care less about the Alabama boys. But I do love Jason. I love the Philly swagger. So I would have gone that way. And then my next note says, this season I'll go with the Dolphins because of Jody. We are full of a variety of content, having the same opinion on everything, which is not true. There are things we don't agree on. But yeah, so that's what I would say. I mean, I think you could argue the 49ers. I just can't get behind them because I loathe Nick Bosa. I just loathe him. I cannot stand Kyle Shanahan.
I'm not a Shanahan fan.
Yeah.
George Kittle, I go back and forth on.
I think I like George as a person. I think I'm over him as a player, is what I'm thinking.
I could go for that.
But yeah, outside of that, I got nothing. I would say kind of my little dark horse right now. I'm loving the Texans. I love DeMarco, their new coach. I'm really loving CJ Stroud. I like what they're doing with Tank and Nico because I love when you get these kids that are not, the number 1 pick. Honestly, when you don't get like a Stephon Diggs or an OBJ and all these people that have historically been big names and you still really produce.
Yeah.
So they're kind of my dark horse, but yeah, sames.
Yeah.
All right. Little would you rather game with 2 questions. Would you rather own an NBA team or a WNBA team?
So I went WNBA on this one just because I think that there's more opportunity there, more growth of where you could take the sport. So if I'm going to be an owner, I kind of want something where maybe you can put your stamp on it a little bit or expand it a little bit. Almost feels like you're getting in on the ground floor, even though it's been around forever. But I think that would be more enjoyable than an NBA team. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah. So like if I have on just my business brain, I'm obviously thinking NBA because I'm thinking I can make money.
Right.
But I'm kind of the same with the WNBA. I would love to own or work with a WNBA team. Again, it's like you said, even though it's been around for so long, I do feel like this is kind of a catapulting time period for them.
Yep.
And, I think that you would just have like more pride in what you do, because if you were really able to really promote the game in women's sports, like I just think that there's so much you could get out of that. I don't know, but I also feel like, and we've talked about this and why you don't like the NBA, that bunch of crybabies. Listen, if I got grown men coming in my office to complain about something, I am going to be pissed. Like,
listen, look at your paycheck and go back to the locker room. We're not doing this.
Do I want to deal with a team full of women having a menstrual cycle too? No, but I mean, I can
at least understand them and would know how to talk to them.
And I would say, oh, come back next week. We'll be good. It'll be fine.
Right. Catch me in 3 days.
Because we do care a lot about women's sports, would you rather own a WNBA team or a women's soccer team?
So on this, I'm going to have to still go WNBA. And that's only because I just can't get into soccer for whatever reason. It's just one of those that unless it's at the Olympics, I can't sit there and watch the whole thing. So I would have to own something that I actually enjoy participate or like watching and being a part of. So I'm anxious to hear your answer because I feel like you could for sure go either way on this.
I could go either way. I actually think there's something interesting to this too. I am going to go women's soccer because kind of honestly, for the same reasons we were just saying with the WNBA, I mean, women's soccer has been around forever, but I feel like it's kind of at that point right now where it has the chance to become something much bigger.
Yes.
And again, this is geographically here in the US, it's that way. Abroad, it's already something huge.
Massive.
But here's what I was thinking about with this. Because when you think about women's soccer teams, there are a lot of really big name people who own teams right now. I mean, obviously the Mahomes with the KC Current, but like when you think about Angel City out in LA, I mean, you've got like Ashton and Mila, you've got like Sophia Bush, like there's a lot of, again, Tom Brady, doesn't he? No, he owns part of the Aces. But like there's some big names already in women's soccer for it to still kind of be where it is. And I find that interesting.
But I think you have take the Mahomes out of it. All of these other celebrities, they just invested in it. Yeah. You have people like Patrick and Brittany that come in. Really, Brittany for the most part at the beginning.
I mean, Brittany's the one that built the stadium.
Yeah. When you have them come in and not just be, let me write a check and then you guys go do, but they're like helping get their name out. They're making advances. It's a whole new stadium that's catered to them. There's a difference there. So you can be a celebrity and own a team, but if you're just writing a check and that's really, and then you show up to a few games,
yeah,
it's not really going to do much.
Well, and I think too, I don't know. I need to do a little more research because, here I go talking about something I don't know anything about, but I did see something not too long ago where some of the investors in Angel City were getting out.
Interesting.
So I don't know what that's about because, Abby Wambach, who's one of my favorites of all time, who's married to Glennon Dole, they are investors in Angel City. And I need to look this up because I did see something about some people getting out and I wondered like, why is that happening? Because they were, it was Natalie Portman. A lot of people were joined when they launched that team a couple seasons ago. Like,
do you think they got in and they realized this is not?
I don't know.
My head in this.
I don't know. I'm gonna need to find out though. So this game I'm calling If You Could because I couldn't come up with a better name. So if you could have season tickets to any sports team, who would it be and why?
Okay, so for this one, I went, if it's just the season tickets that are covered cost-wise, I'm going Houston Texans because they're closest to us, so we could travel to them.
Okay, it's of course you're financially responsible in the decision. Good.
Because as soon as I saw that question, immediately I went to my budget spreadsheet that I always put together for any big expense that we're going to do. And I was like, that's a lot of travel expense there.
This is where Nick and I are vastly different.
Vastly.
Yeah.
But if we're going like travel expenses are included, obviously I'm going season tickets with the Chiefs. Yeah. It would be so fun to go and see all of their games. Just to be a part of like, it's fun to be in the middle of a really good fandom. Just to have solid fans that enjoy the game and for the most part are respectful. It's not like you're going to the, Bills game. So I think that would be so fun.
Yeah. Well, as new season ticket holders to the Chiefs, I'm not going to pick them because if I could, I did. So I am going to go Lakers. Obviously, again, like a Lakers fan, but also, we love our entertainment and our pop culture. There are always celebrities at Lakers games and Knicks games. But I feel like I don't like the Knicks, so it made sense for me to go Lakers.
I like it. That works.
But I had an asterisk with mine, which is, again, what will point out further differences in our fiscal responsibility. I put that they must be courtside.
Obviously.
Why would I go otherwise? Please.
Right. What are you going to put us in the back? I don't think so.
Please, I got to be able to see them. I mean,
they need to hear my commentary.
How else will we become best friends? Clearly.
Right.
Please.
How's the coaching staff going to know what to say?
Exactly. I mean, LeBron may need some pointers. I don't know. Okay, these next two, I am so curious and excited to hear your people and your things. Number 2. If you could have dinner with 5 athletes, who would you pick and why?
Okay. I loved this question.
Oh, good.
Obviously, Jason and Travis Kelce, top of the list.
Okay.
I want to have dinner with them. I think
they take up 2 places or just one?
They took up 2.
Okay. Just checking.
I think, first off, just them in general would be a really fun hang. But to get to sit and talk football with them,
yeah,
man,
yeah,
what a time to be alive if you could experience that. So they took 2 spots. Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler were my other 2.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Right? Listen, I just need to be around Scotty now that he's got, a record and a mugshot.
Criminal now, so.
Yeah. And then Justin Thomas, just his personality after watching Full Swing, they just seem like a really fun hang as well. And just to get their thoughts, like, neither of them are huge, like, live PGA guys. I'm sure they definitely have their opinions, but they're not some of the outspoken ones. So just to kind of be like, what are your thoughts on this? So, and then the other one would be Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, that's a good one too. These are so good.
Right? I watched a couple of, like, he's done a ton of documentaries, but also he's still very active in analysis for the NBA and things like that. And his business, I'm always fascinated by people and their business mindsets with all of the investments that he's made and how well he's done for himself. He would be really interesting to have dinner with.
Yeah. So, okay. I approached this. I actually puzzled myself with this one.
Okay.
Because at first I was like trying to put together 5 people where I thought the conversation would like be cohesive, I guess, in some sense of the way. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't get, it was like I could come up with 5 people and then I was like, oh, but
Right.
So I actually took a page out of Benny Blanco's book. I told you about that.
Thought Andy would say.
Again, my whole life is a whole new thing. Again, I told you about it in that Jay Shetty interview. He talked a lot about the dinner parties he throws and how he could have SZA and then some like 85-year-old woman he met at the post office. Like, so I kind of took a page from that because I thought, like, I don't know what all these people are going to talk about, but I'm in.
Something out.
So I too had Jason and Travis.
Obviously.
That's just a given. Right. I did almost try to make them 1 seat, but I try to abide by the rules. Number 3, though, oh no, wait a minute. Did I pick 6 people?
Pull it together.
I did. I apologize. I picked 6 people. I did give them the same.
That
was the thing where I was like, no, I'm just going to break the rules. Okay, yeah. And I like how I just out on my hand. That's what just happened. Okay. So they're in the same seat. They can sit on each other's knee. So number 2, I had Peyton Manning.
Oh, that would be a good one.
So I just think he seems like a super interesting dude. He seems really funny. He also seems like he can kind of like help direct conversations in a million ways. So I picked him. I went with Kelsey Plum because she is one of my favorite basketball players. But
I almost put her on my list.
Do what?
I almost put her on my list.
Oh, yeah. She seems like, I mean, she's obviously one of my favorite, but she just seems like a cool hang. But also, I think she's very interesting. I think there's a lot to her. I would love to know more.
Yeah,
for sure. So I did have a note here. If ESPN is listening and would like us to do like a 30 on 30, we would be happy to do that on Kelce. So anytime you need us. I don't think my next pick will shock you that I went with Alex Morgan.
Obviously.
She is my favorite soccer player, and I think she is fantastic. She's super interesting. We could definitely talk about Taylor. So
that's true.
And then my boy, Phil Mickelson.
Oh, okay.
So, Phil has always been my favorite golfer of all time. My dog's middle name was Mickelson. I also think he could be like the world's most interesting man kind of situation.
100%. He's seen a lot of things because he's been around for a long time.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Is that 6? Jason and Travis. Peyton. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Still counting. Well, because I had an honorable mention, I would love to like have dinner with Abby Wambach. Okay. She's lived a really interesting life. All of her experience with the Olympics and just like beating her addiction and just all that kind of stuff. I think she would be. Yeah. She's my honorable mention.
Okay. I like it.
Honorable mentions. So that really gives me 7 people at my dinner party.
Listen, you do you.
If you make up the game, you can do whatever the hell you want. That's all I'm saying. All right. If you could, last one, attend your top 5 sporting events, what would they be and why? And in my notes, I put, I'm dying to know if we picked the exact same 5.
I bet we don't.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Okay. I'll start 5 and then go to number 1.
Okay.
Number 5, Wimbledon.
Oh, you ranked yours?
I did.
Oh, God.
It's top 5. So then I was like, well, I got to make it make sense.
Okay. Don't expect a lot from me, people, but go ahead.
Number 5, I did Wimbledon.
Okay.
I'm not a huge tennis watcher, like just a generic game, but I always watch Wimbledon. And so every year I have to watch enough of it to figure out how you actually get points in tennis because it's very confusing.
Yeah.
Usually about 30 minutes in, I've got it down again.
Yeah.
But it's always so good to watch. And I'm always fascinated by how good these people are at cardio. Can you even?
Come on. Yeah.
Like we took the kids to the tennis courts a couple weekends ago, just in our neighborhood. And after about 10 minutes, I thought, well, this is how I go because I'm about to have a heart attack here.
Well, you do also live on essentially the equator, but yeah.
That is true. We were under a heat advisory already. So
there you go.
There's that. So Wimbledon's 5, PGA Championship, number 4. Oh. I don't think I would want to go to the Masters as much. It seems a little too prim and proper for me, but PGA Championship, a little bit more laid back, I think.
Oh, okay.
So again, I can't always just watch golf all the way through, but to be at that event and say you went would be really cool. Number 3, a Wrexham game. I would love to go over and see a Wrexham game.
Well, we saw Wrexham play last summer, but not in Wrexham. We saw them play in Charlotte, North Carolina. They played Chelsea. So,
But I just, when you watch the documentaries or you watch their show and you kind of see those players a little bit more, it makes it more fascinating to see them actually in live play.
Well, we'll just get Blake and Ryan to invite you over. It'll be fine.
Listen, just let me know. Give me time to get, a passport.
Still, I'm on it. Okay, go ahead.
All right, number 2, the Olympics gymnastics finals.
Okay.
I would be obsessed. That is one of my favorite things to watch in the Olympics during the summer. So getting to actually be there and watch. Although I do think I might get ADD kicking in at some point to see all of the events going on.
Routine that I would be out. Like that bores me. I don't know why.
I sit right on the mat so that I can only focus on one thing. Don't mind me.
Yep.
And then obviously number 1, a Super Bowl. Who doesn't want to go to a Super Bowl?
Okay.
Just to say you went, but I need to be in a box or I need to be on the sidelines. Those are the only 2 spots for me. I can't be with the commoners.
No, yes, please.
All right, give me your 5 in any given order.
I was gonna say in my head I have been sitting here trying to put them in order, and I don't know that I can.
Don't stress yourself out.
I'm sweating. We do have a lot of the same.
Oh, good.
So I picked Wimbledon. Okay, I actually do think this could be in order because I did pick Wimbledon as well. This goes back to what we've talked a lot about, my love of pomp and circumstance. And I feel like Wimbledon has a lot of that. I think, again, it's just so historical. But, one of the reasons I also picked Wimbledon, I don't follow tennis at all. I was about to say even a little, but I mean, at all, really. Unless it's Wimbledon. Now, when Serena and Venus were kind of in their heyday, specifically Serena, I definitely would check the scores. I didn't really watch, but if I did hear they were playing each other, I would for sure tune in. I feel that way about Coco Gauff as well. I just freaking watching her. But that's one of the things I love about Wimbledon too, because though I don't follow the sport of tennis, I know the names for the most part. At least the historical names. But what I love about Wimbledon is you'll have some random 16-year-old kid from Uzbekistan who shows up and takes down Serena. Right. And so I find it so fascinating, and it never fails. Every year there's always some big upset. There's never just every match is exactly what we thought was going to happen. Yeah. I also picked Wimbledon because, as we know, the royal family are important to us, and I figured they would need to see me, and
Yes, we could
it
hang
just
out.
makes sense. And also there's usually some celebrities that hit Wimbledon too. So I felt like it was a good mix for me. So I had that. I also had an Olympic event, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this because it's not an actual athletic competition. So, but I put the opening ceremonies.
Okay, that's still.
I don't know if that's acceptable. Again, I made the rules, so I'm doing what I want.
I think it is.
But yeah, I would love to see it. Again, pomp and circumstance, the flags, the flame, all of it. I'm totally in. So that is huge for me. On the opposite side, I did pick the Masters, of course. It is my lifelong dream. I too don't typically love the prim and proper, but I can pop my collar for that event. So I have those three. I also have the Super Bowl. I mean, of course. And then my last one is kind of a wild. I don't know if this will be surprising to you or not. Game 7 of the World Series.
Okay, that Game 7 of the World Series.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Okay.
So I think so. I was torn. I wanted to pick a soccer event. And so I wanted to pick something the U.S. women's national team because I love them. But
that's where I wanted you to go.
I couldn't figure out what that would be. Like, am I saying like in the World Cup for the women's team? Am I like, are we talking about the Olympics? Like, I couldn't figure out really what it would be. So I will just say that I am on board anytime anyone wants to take me to see the U.S. women's national team.
There you go.
And we're going to need to do it this year because I do think this is the last year Alex is going to make it. So y'all just let me know where I need to be. I am not worried about the responsibility of my finances, not because I'm rich, because I'm stupid and I don't care. But Game 7. Listen, you only live one time, people. No, Game 7. Here's why. Okay, lifelong Cubs fan since birth. I love everything about the Cubs, the history of Wrigley, just everything. So when the Cubs won the World Series after 100 years, we lived in Wilmington, North Carolina. Game 7. We were laying in bed because it was super late. And Judd was a baby, so we were being super quiet. And when they won at the very end on like a dramatic play, they silently screamed because literally baby next to me and Aaron, which if you don't know Aaron, he's like 6'5", huge dude, shook this man physically to where he still talks about it to this day. There's just something about it. And honestly, like, I am not somebody who can sit and watch a baseball game on TV unless it is the World Series. I will watch the World Series. I'm not super invested unless it's like the Royals.
It's completely different.
Whole new ballgame. Again, we went to the Royals game not too long ago. It was fantastic. I've already got tickets we're going on the 12th to see them play the Yankees. Like, and I hate the Yankees. But it's like, there's just something about it. So yeah, Game 7.
Okay.
But it has to be Game 7. I don't want to see 1 through 6.
No, it's not worth it.
It's the same way about the NBA Finals. I wouldn't mind going, but I need to go to Game 7.
Yeah, I get it.
So, but yeah, how did you like this week's game? Was it a winner?
Listen, these are good. I enjoy these.
Listen, we can make a TV show if anybody's hiring. So
you guys literally call us for anything. We're up for just
we will figure it out. Trust us. All right, so we're going to switch to entertainment.
Yes.
We know a large percentage of you are only here for our Taylor Talks. So let's see. We were in Portugal last week.
We were.
Yes. Anything of note for you from Portugal?
Listen, when I was working on the notes and I saw that, I was like, what happened in Portugal? Was there anything that happened?
I mean, so a lot of people, of course, excluding Becca because she has some weird like thing about her, but a lot of people were very consumed with the mashups that she did during surprise songs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's Becca's influence with this negativity or what, but they were fine. But yeah, I think like Travis wasn't there. Like, I don't know. It just, I don't know.
It was just kind of one of those like, you put on a great show.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything that we were like looking forward to.
Yeah.
I think if I understood her why behind the mashups and how she chooses her acoustic set, maybe then I would enjoy it a little bit more if I had some context. But to me, they're just like random songs that you're singing, which again, you do great. Your vocals are incredible, but I need the juicy details.
Well, and I do think that there's something there. I mean, as we have talked about a gazillion times, there is never there's never a like just because reason with Taylor, right? There's always something. I will say, so she did so night 2, she did Tortured Poets Department and Now That We Don't Talk. So again, my little spidey senses wondered what's up with that, because I love Tortured Poets Department, the song and the album, but she did the song.
Yeah.
But then mashing it up with Now That We Don't Talk, we all assumed, I assume you assumed because I assumed, that Now That We Don't Talk, because it was a vault track from 1989, was about Harry Styles.
That's what we thought.
But I'm betting that the fact that she put it with TTPD, the song, that song is about Maddie freaking Healy.
Which again is crazy that he's always been there. And all these songs are probably about him, and none of us had any idea.
The whole underlying theme is just flipping mind-blowing to me. I did think it was really cute that she did the triple mashup of Come Back Be Here from Red and The Way I Loved You and The Other Side of the Door from Fearless.
Yeah.
We, of course, rumors believe that she was potentially in Ibiza in between Paris and Portugal with Travis.
Yeah.
So Come Back Be Here, I thought that was super cute. And then people, I guess, have been like beating down the door waiting for her to do The Way I Loved You. Again, not a song that I'm like addicted to, and same with The Other Side of the Door, but apparently that mashup was very Travis. So, you know, we're always here for that. I did think it was interesting, the Fresh Out the Slammer and High Fidelity mashup, because again, if we're talking about there's a storyline here.
Yeah.
High Fidelity is definitely, I have always believed, a song about cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh Out the Slammer, I think we've taken to mean like she kind of felt like she was like locked into this relationship in London and all of that. And so I did wonder how that all connected. I'll leave it there. She also did Long Live and You're on Your Own, Kid. And I thought that was a interesting. So You're on Your Own, Kid has come up a bazillion times on this tour, along with Maroon. And everybody's like, why does she keep doing those songs?
Yeah.
And, you know, Long Live was not on the tour, and then it was, and now it's off again. And so she played those together. And I think there's something to the combinations.
I mean, everything she does, there's something to it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I also think that people are looking at each night's surprise songs, and even like from piano to guitar, or vice versa, and they're thinking that's a story, that's a story. That is so not Taylor. I am thinking that the story started in Glendale and it's still going. Like, we are being told a full story.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that full story we're being told in these surprise songs is the background to whatever she's writing, whether it's the Broadway show, the movie, or the book.
There could definitely be some validity to that.
So I don't know. We'll see. But Portugal was, I mean, it seems like they were very receptive to Portugal or to Taylor. I will say their media, not respectful, like posted the floor she was staying on. What is wrong with you people?
How do these countries not know? Like
y'all, let's be careful here. Anyway, so last night and tonight, or again, about to happen. So, you know, time zones, whatever. She's in Madrid. Last night,
I actually think it's 1 o'clock.
Say what?
She took the stage at 1 o'clock our time today.
Yeah, so she's potentially, she's already in lover era right now. Blake Lively was there with 3 of her 4 kids, with her mom. Ryan is supposed to be there. He said himself he was going to be there. I have not seen anything of him, which makes me wonder if maybe he's going tonight or if he sat somewhere else, which doesn't make sense. He always sits with Blake.
Yeah, my thought was, because everybody's like, oh, Blake and Ryan are there. And I think they were just saying that because Blake and Ryan are typically together. But I didn't see him in anything that got posted. But he posted on his Instagram about he was somewhere else. And so I was wondering, like, I wonder if he ended up having to like do reshoots for a movie or something took a day longer. And so potentially maybe they're all going to be there for today's show. Possibly.
So I think that he is going to be there today. That is my theory too. So ironically, what I thought, and I sent you this picture. So the first footage that came out yesterday of Blake being there, she's like walking into the VIP thing and 3 of their daughters are sitting there. But it's funny because the crowd is like literally facing her daughters and just hundreds of cameras. And it made me feel bad for them because they have always tried to be very protective of their girls and their kids in general. It just made me feel bad. In my head, I wondered, is he there, but he's sitting somewhere else because maybe he didn't want to draw more attention? But I'm like, Blake herself.
I doubt that.
Yeah, because I feel like Blake's going to draw all the attention anyway. You might as well get it over with.
Right.
I still think if he was anywhere else in the stadium, someone would have seen him.
Yeah, we would have had a picture somewhere.
Another person that was there last night was Paul Gasol, the former LA Laker that was Kobe Bryant's best friend. He and his wife were there.
Oh, fun.
I did just check Twitter just to see. I'm not seeing anything yet about Blake and oh wait, maybe it just popped up today. No, I don't know. Anyway, so we'll see if he's there. He said he was going to be. There were rumors that Gracie Abrams was there last night. I never saw pictures of that. Haim was definitely there. Danielle, Esty, and Alana were all 3 there. I love Haim. I was so happy to get to see them in LA.
Yeah.
I love their friendship. The videos of them like dancing and singing to Blake's kids, I thought were so sweet. And Blake is like, she just has herself a hell of a time at those shows.
Absolutely.
I love it. But there were videos of at least 2 of their girls dancing with the Haim sisters. I just love all of them.
It's just so sweet to kind of see them all together. Yeah.
Well, and I just think, I just think it's cool that it really is kind of like a little family. I couldn't think of the word family. That's a hard word to think of. I don't know. So yeah, I did wonder, so the mashups yesterday, Sparks Fly. People really love that song from Speak Now. I am not a Speak Now person.
No.
So it means a lot to a lot of people. It was weird, I shouldn't say weird, but there's definitely something I think too. She did that mashed up with I Can Fix Him. No, really, I can. Mm-hmm. So Speak Now era is more the like the unknown guys from Nashville she was talking to, the John Mayer years, the Jake Gyllenhaal. So then connecting that to the I Can Fix Him, no, really, I can. I don't know. I just wonder.
Yeah.
Also, she did I Look in People's Windows. Now, I'll be honest, this for me was a skip originally, but it's growing on me.
When she does some of these songs live, I'm like, okay, maybe I do like that more than I thought.
That song, though, if you turn the words off, is Death by a Thousand Cuts. Like, it is literally, it sounds like the exact same song. So I just felt for sure she was going to mash those together, but she didn't. She did Snow on the Beach. And of course, everyone thought Lana was going to be there because she's at some festival. And there was one part, I was watching it live on the live stream. There was one part everyone went nuts, and I assumed Lana popped out of the ground or something. And Taylor started laughing, and she just
the stage behind her opened up.
Yeah. I mean, I thought for sure. And it was funny because she was like, nope, just me.
Hey, guys.
So I thought that was really funny. But so it'd be cool to see what she does tonight. A lot of people thought she was going to do Gorgeous last night because Blake's kids were there and James is at the beginning of Gorgeous. Yeah. But she just did that not long ago. So yeah, that didn't surprise me. I also wondered, and I wondered this about her clothing choices too. I always wonder, like, does she ask her friends that are coming to the show, like, hey, what songs do you want me to mash up? Or,
Yeah. I bet
because ironically, the one time there's one show that she said that she did this, the Nashville show, Abigail was there, and she said, because Abigail's here, or she said, because my redhead best friend is here, and then she did 15. But in that same show, she said, someone else told me this week that his favorite song is Hey Stephen, and she played Hey Stephen. That's Maddie's favorite song, and he was there.
Oh.
And so she's never said that before, but I always wonder, like, I don't know, like, did she ask Blake's daughters, like, hey, what do you want me to wear? Or like, I don't know.
You know what, though? I bet that they just text her and say, hey, we're going to be at this show, play this song.
Yeah.
Because if you were an artist and I was coming to one of your show, I would for sure text you and be like, hey, I'm going to be there this weekend, and this is what I want to hear.
But it's interesting. I don't know, because then it goes back to, if she's really telling a story, that makes it hard, because what's weird is in Portugal, Imogen Heap was there, who she wrote Clean with. And so I was like, oh, she's for sure doing Clean. And she didn't do it.
Well,
but in the Stockholm shows, Max Martin was there, and she did the Max Martin mashup. So that's why I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. And then I thought she was just screwing with people doing Snow on the Beach because everyone was convinced Lana was coming. And I think I was like, she's just messing with everybody. So I don't know. Okay. 2 questions for you about Taylor.
Okay.
What songs do you feel like are missing from the Eras tour? The set list, don't take account the surprise songs.
I think that she really should do Long Live every time. I think that should be a permanent.
Have I ever heard it and not cried? No.
Right? Every time. It gets me every time.
Yeah.
I
think
yeah. I think that one should be constantly on there. I don't know. That's the kind of the only one that really sticks out to me that you always have on there.
Yeah, I hate that she removed that. I just feel like this You're on Your Own Kid thing. The reason that she keeps singing it, like, I'm just like, you just put it on the show at this point.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So yeah, that for me. I mean, even though Clean is my favorite song, I don't think it fits on the show.
Agreed.
So I'm so happy she did But Daddy, I Love Him, because if that wasn't on there, and that she has that snippet, and I think it's like the perfect part of So High School. Otherwise, I would have been like, we need it.
Right. You got to add something.
So we were talking about Blake and the Haim sisters being there. Who is in your dream VIP tent that you would sit with?
Okay. So if we're all going to be in the tent together, I want all of the Kelces. I want Kylie. I want Jason. Okay. I want Travis. Okay. I want Donna and Ed.
Okay. Okay.
I want them in there. I want Patrick and Brittany in there with us.
Okay.
I want some of the Chiefs players. Blake Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ryan and Blake, because that just rounds us out fully.
Clearly, as you would. Okay. Right. Well, I went girl squad plus Travis.
Okay.
So I need Travis just in general. I feel like when he's there, she ups the game, and he's just a fun guy. Like, the way he gets into it, I just love it. Right. And I would love to see him, like, just him, the only boy with the girl squad. I think it would be hilarious. So I've got Blake, Gigi Hadid, Cara Delevingne, Abigail, because I worry about the fact that we haven't seen Abigail since Nashville. So I need that. Since her birthday. I need that fixed. Abigail. I had, let's see. Oh, and I had the Haim sisters.
Okay.
So essentially that, like, dinner they all went to that one time.
Yeah. We also probably need to throw in Ross Travis with us too.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. We said Travis was going to be there. I mean, he's got to be with us
together.
So they went somewhere separately. But yeah, I would love it. Anytime they need me there.
That'd be fun. Any of those would be fun to have in there.
I had cons, however you say it, on the agenda. I don't really have much to say about that, other than I saw that our girl Selena co-won a Best Actress award.
I just don't I don't ever follow canned stuff because I never know the movies that are there. Those are never movies that I'm going to see.
Yeah. Northwest, and I don't mean the direction, I mean the child. She was in the 30th anniversary of The Lion King, like live production in the Hollywood Bowl. She played, I don't know that she played Simba or she just did the one song.
No, she did the one song. So what it is, it's at the Hollywood Bowl. Mm-hmm. And it's not a Broadway production of The Lion King, but it is a production of the songs from the Broadway Lion King and the animated series. So they've kind of combined the two elements. Mm-hmm. So they have special guests for the nights that they're performing it. Northwest, Kanye and Kim Kardashian's daughter, was a special guest over this past weekend, and she played young Simba and did one of the songs. Now, listen, we're not hating on a 10-year-old child who sang songs because their parents said, hey, this is what you're going to be in. But she is not a singer, no matter how much they want to portray that. So I definitely fault the parents for paying for her to get on there. And the casting director or producer, whoever decided that was a good choice. She clearly can't find the tune. She was flat. She didn't know the choreography, which again, not her fault. If no one took her to rehearsals, what's she going to do? It just didn't seem to fit. And you've got her coming out after Jennifer Hudson just brought down the house. So it was just an odd thing. And as a parent, I would have never put my child in that situation. Obviously, awesome opportunity. But there are so many talented children that auditioned for that and could have taken that role and done phenomenal that it was just kind of like, what? And I think all of the hate or dislike that was kind of pushed to it was more at Kim than anybody else of like, why was that to your kid?
Well, and I think Kanye's just a lightning rod.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it was just the footage I saw. I didn't even see Kim, but I saw Kanye in the crowd.
I did see Kim was there, Chris was there. I know Travis was there, so I would assume Courtney was, because at one point,
Travis Barker. I was like, what?
Travis, sorry, not Kelce, but Travis Barker was there because at one point, or one video I saw had panned to the audience and they were standing up taking pictures of her.
Okay. Yeah. It was terrible. I felt bad for her.
Yeah.
But I also think that she's got that odd personality like Kanye. She probably adored the whole situation.
I'm sure. I mean, as any 10-year-old that enjoys.
I mean, my kid can't carry a tune in a bucket and he loves to put on a show. So.
Sure. There you go.
All right. Super fast. Wrapping it up. Y factor. What are you disliking this week?
All right. So my dislike for this week, because I have been shopping for vacation outfits, as one does, because you can't wear your regular clothes. So my dislike this week is the lighting in dressing rooms. You guys,
listen. Yeah.
I can fix my hair, put the makeup on, have a spray tan, and be doing the best that I can possibly do. But if you guys aren't going to help me out with that lighting,
you really make designer. Yeah.
It was not a fun hang because I'd be like, oh, this looks good. And then you kind of get more into the lighting and you're like, never mind. I'm just going to put everything back. And you got to help us out. If you guys want us to spend our money in the stores, help us out.
I think designers and stores alike should want better lighting because you'll buy more.
Yeah. Listen, if I'm feeling it in that room, I'll get the whole rack. But
in every color. Yep.
That's right.
Mine is faux activism.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get into the political nature of everything that's happening overseas. It's all a tragedy on every front. That's all I'm going to say. But the people that are coming for Taylor for not commenting on the conflict in Palestine, I think I'm just sick of it. Y'all just want, like, first of all, that's a massive security risk for her.
Yes.
Okay. Also, stop looking to celebrities to be the sounding board for your opinions. Because, A, they may not think the same as you. I don't know how she feels about it.
But also, why? Why
You do what you want to do about it. If you're mad about it, you post about it. You donate your money. Quit trying to make other people do it. Like,
it's so weird when something happens and people are like, well, aren't you going to say something? These people are humans too. Let them process, let them figure things out. Like, I don't know.
That is a messy, yeah, that is a very messy situation for a lot of people. So, like, anyway.
Yeah.
What are you liking?
Okay, what I'm liking this week is Sterling K. Brown doing his PR tour with the new Atlas movie that he's in. Listen, first off, I love Sterling K. Brown anyway. He is incredible in interviews. He's so funny and he's so quick-witted. But seeing him with Simu, how do you say it? Simu Lee?
Yeah, I think. Or Lou. Simu Lou. Yeah.
First off, them together, they were doing an interview on a red carpet and they both broke out into Spanish and it was better than Jennifer Lopez's. And I was like,
you're worse. Yeah.
But just like his comments and the, little things that he says, you're like, something happened there and I'm here for it. So
yeah,
I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing all that tour. What are you loving?
I'm loving Kylie Kelce.
Yes.
So
didn't bring her up yet.
We only have like a few seconds, but obviously if you haven't seen it, Jason and Kylie were on a date night in CIL and a woman came up wanting their picture. Kylie very politely declined and said, hey, we're on date night. Let's not today. Well, the woman was stupid and apparently I think drunk. And wee little woman gets in Kylie Kelce, very tall's face. And Kylie Kelce, she ain't taking it. She's already told y'all when you tried to create the fake drama between her and Taylor, she said, F around and find out. Well, this woman F'd around and found out.
Yep.
And I loved it. And I loved Jason just standing behind her with his hands in his pocket because he's like, she don't need me. Like,
well, because at one point you do see there's another man there that does try and get in between them.
I figured it was like security or something.
Yeah, to push this like random fan away. And Kylie goes around him. Like Jason already knew that was going to happen. So he's like, I'm just going to stand back here. She'll handle it when she's done. We'll go eat.
It was amazing. We ride all day, every day through any wall for Kylie Kelce. She is the queen.
But the fact that they got on video where Kylie's like, I can smell alcohol in your breath. You're embarrassing yourself. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I can only pray that Travis brings it up on New Heights next week. That's all I'm praying.
They have to. They have to.
All right. Well, that's it for Why Space this week. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. All 10,000 times you've done it, which is stupid and great, but thank you. And we'll talk to y'all next week from Kansas City. Yes, more questions. And we'll see you next week from Kansas City.
Oh, my goodness.
Big time. Bye, y'all.